things were negotiated behind closed doors in the leader's office, an opportunity to be heard, and in a regular order when it comes to actually funding the government. So very appreciative of what the House did today. That bill will be headed to the President, and we will have fully 96% of the federal government funded. What that means is there's still another 4% that's not funded and is operating on a 2-week continuing resolution, which I had argued at the time was way too short to allow anything consequential to happen when it comes to resolving the issues around DHS. But that being said, the Democrats insisted on it. So those discussions will get underway. Katie Britt will lead that on our side, and but ultimately that's going to be a conversation between the President of the United States and the Democrats here in the Senate. What I hope it doesn't devolve into is something that makes it harder, not easier, to deport and detain dangerous illegal aliens in this country. And I also hope that it focuses on protecting and ensuring that the law enforcement officers in this country are safe in their jobs, and that a lot of the tumult that we've experienced in some of our cities around the country starts to dissipate as they are able to effectively function and do what the American people expect them to do. So that's what's going to be happening, at least with respect to DHS. This week, as you know, we're going to be dealing with confirming judges, and then we'll be off to the next challenge. But a good accomplishment, I think, today in terms of ensuring that 96% of the federal government will be funded. And I think that's something for which the American people can be grateful. No federal employee should be taken hostage by a government shutdown, something I've said before and something that the House reiterated with their action today.
Yeah. Will you commit to putting the SAVE Act on the floor, and will you sidestep the filibuster to get it passed?
Well, we will get a vote on the SAVE Act at some point, and I'm not sure exactly what that context will be. It might be, maybe it's in the context of voting on the DHS bill if something's agreed upon. But there will be at some point a vote on the SAVE Act. With respect to the filibuster, I think we all know where the votes are on that.
Leader, do you agree with President Trump saying that we should nationalize some of the federal elections in the country? And also, do you have any concerns about DNI Gabbard's presence at that Fulton County operation in Georgia?
I don't know what she was doing in Fulton County. You'll have to ask her about that. But with respect to nationalizing elections, I think the President has clarified what he meant by that, and that is that he supports the SAVE Act. So with respect to whether or not that signifies ensuring that only citizens of this country vote in our elections, that's something I think we all agree with. There are other views probably when it comes to nationalizing or federalizing elections, but I think at least on that narrow issue, which is what the SAVE Act gets at, I think that's what the President was addressing.
Senator, some of your Republican colleagues have called on you to use a standing filibuster to try to outlast the Democratic minority under current rules. Do you have any expectation that you can succeed with that, given the enormous difficulty of doing that? In fact, the big majority have not been able to.
Right. Well, I guess, and I would just remind people that the coin in the realm in the Senate is floor time. There's a finite amount of it, and we have a lot of things we have to do. There's a housing bill that's awaiting action, hopefully a market structure bill, possibly permitting reform, farm bill, highway bill. You can go right down the list. Russia sanctions, there are a whole bunch of things that could be teed up for action on the floor of the Senate. And so you have to make some judgments, and the conference will have a conversation about that. I've committed to that we will talk about that idea and determine whether or not what the conference's views are about it and how they want to proceed. As I said, we will vote on the SAVE Act, but exercising or triggering a talking filibuster has ramifications, implications that I think everybody needs to be aware of. So we will have those discussions, but that's obviously ties the floor up for an indefinite amount of time with not only unlimited debate, but also unlimited amendments, all of which can reset the clock. So it's not something that it's going to take something that will entail a tremendous amount of effort, work, and cooperation, and at the expense of the other things we might be doing in the Senate. But we're going to have a discussion about it and see where our conference is.
Senator, after a meeting at the NRSC today, what is the environment like for Republicans, and what do you think you guys need to do better heading into the midterm elections?
I think we feel really good about where our Senate races are. The Democrats are targeting a number of our incumbents, and so we've got some races that are going to be expensive and hard fought in places like Maine and North Carolina. The Democrats are bullish on other states like Ohio and Alaska, but we also have some really good opportunities, we think, in states for potential pickups. But the one thing I can tell you is the people that are running as incumbents in our conference are seasoned veterans who will outwork any of their opponents. And I'm confident that when, with the right resources and the ability to get their message out, that we are going to be well positioned not only to preserve and protect, but hopefully to expand our Senate majority. But I don't take any of these elections lightly. I think what happened in Texas should be it's something that ought to capture our attention and help us remind us that we need to up our game and do a better job of not only putting up a record of accomplishment for the American people, but then being able to deliver that message. And I think if you look at what we've accomplished in this last year, it's a terrific record of accomplishment for our candidates to run on. The Working Families Tax Cuts had over 100 pieces of legislation included in it, which address many of the issues that working families in this country are dealing with. But we've got to get out and tell that story. And I think over the course of the next several months we'll do that.
On the Gabbard question, do you want to get briefed on her role in Fulton County and Senator Cotton as the chairman of the Intelligence Committee? Do you have any concerns about her presence there?
I let Senator Cotton speak for himself, and as the chairman of the Intelligence Committee, I'm not aware of what she was doing down there, and so maybe that's a question that she can answer for the Intelligence Committee or others who have questions about her involvement there. Thank you all.
Senator Cotton, any comment?
No comment at all.